Welcome into our final Radio Row NFL Combine check-in with the Patriots Beat, Patriots Daily crossover crew. Alex Barth, Taylor Kyles, Brian Hines with you. Just want to clean up on a couple things we saw here today on Thursday before the workouts officially begin tonight, what is really known as the NFL Combine. The big news today, just league-wide, Abdul Carter, although he spoke yesterday, it came out today, he's dealing with, I think it's called a pressure fracture, right, in his foot is the way it's been described. Initially, it was reported he might need surgery. Now it sounds like he doesn't need surgery. He's going to go through his pro day. A lot of people maybe woke up excited. Oh, is he going to fall to 4? Is he going to play for the Patriots? I don't know what you guys think. I believe this is a non-factor. If it bumps him anywhere, it's from 1 to 2. He's not getting past that. That's about the rest of the class as much as it is him. But I don't think this opens any sort of door for the Patriots.
I don't think it does either. It's also weird how many first-rounders are popping up with injuries. Like, I can't remember the last time we saw quite this many. But, yeah, with Abdul Carter, as long as it's not a significant injury, when you look at this guy and the tools that he has, they're so rare. He's so young. I don't see why, not anything that's going to make him miss significant time would be a factor in him falling out of that top 2 picks.
I think they said even if he had the surgery, he would be sidelined like 8
weeks, right?
So that's nothing.
Are you really going to look at it and say, well, Abdul Carter won't be there for the first week of OTAs, so I guess we can't draft him?
Yeah, that's. And Drew Rosenhaus's agent even said, we still expect him after this week and meeting with teams, we still expect him to go first overall. So I would still be surprised if he's not the Titans pick as of right now.
So then we're waiting on what happens next. It seems like that's starting to lock in a 1, and does Travis Hunter get to 4 for the Patriots? He spoke today to the media. I thought he was tremendous. I thought he handled the questions about where he's going to play very well. Anytime he was asked any sort of thing, what do you want? He would say, I want to play both ways. And anything that was in specifics, he said it was up to the teams. He was literally asked, if the team says you can't play both ways, but they'll let you pick one, what will you do? And he said, wherever the team wants me, it's up to them, right? So I thought he knocked that out of the park. It was a little weird. He refused to acknowledge what teams he met with. He answered all those with the next question. But besides that, I thought he was tremendous.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a football player through and through. Obviously, we know about the talent and everything he has on the field, but then the media training, he's fantastic. So, I mean, obviously, we know if this is a guy that falls, you run to the podium. I don't get, I'm a fan of the trade down scenario. The only exception is if Travis Hunter ends up falling. So, yeah, it was really cool to see how mature he is. And I think we knew that even before. Like, when he was at Colorado, anytime he's really been interviewed, he handles it very, very well. So just cool to see him do it with the biggest scrum. Like we were talking to Pricey, he was comparing it to Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, like some of the biggest guys who have played football. Or,
got up front, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. Alex Barth was there before. Hardest working guy out here right now.
Because we heard some good stuff from Rondé Gatson, who was at that podium before.
Poor Elijah Huzzy had one person at his podium.
It was like the meme where just like the one fan at the bottom of the concert. But hey, they'll find out.
You know what was good, though, was right next to Robbie Oots, who I also talked to. He had some great stuff, called Bill O'Brien a mastermind, who's OC at Alabama, said he taught him the fullback position, dropped in a Heath Evans reference, and he has met with the Patriots. But before we get to those, Brian, your thoughts on Travis Hunter at the podium?
I think the big thing from the podium and really this week with him is I think you can solely look at him as a wide receiver for the Patriots. And that's not saying like he's not going to play any cornerback because you want to take advantage of that, but he's open to playing wide receiver. He's really good at wide receiver. He's probably the best wide receiver in this class, in my opinion, with the athletic ability, the ball skills, even, you can do some of that off-script stuff you see with Shador. That would be a great fit with Drake May. So, we talked about the Browns. They say they have him as a wide receiver on their card. So I think the fact that he's really open to that, he'll let a team say, we want you at wide receiver, which I think from Patriots' perspective, that would make the most sense. So that was my big thing, and maybe a little bit more confident after this week that he'll be there at 4 as well.
What did you think just seeing him physically in person? Because that's kind of the big concern with him, durability, his build.
I think he's got the build to add weight. I don't think that was a huge concern when I was kind of looking at the
But you think he does need to add weight?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, a cornerback, I don't think it'll be quite as important. Obviously, with the tackling, you do want him to have just some more muscle mass so he can take that on. Then a wide receiver, when you are facing physicality, it's not like he doesn't have that. Like, this is a dog, absolutely. But I would just like to see him be a little bit functionally stronger. But that's really the only massive critique I have for his game. Honestly, I would like him at corner just because I think him and Gonzalez, with their man ability, their ball skills, I think that would be a terrifying secondary to throw against. But, of course, the Patriots also have a glaring need at wide receiver. But I hope that maybe, especially at cornerback, I think that's maybe where he might be the most natural. So maybe put him there most of the time, then give him some of the packages like a Marcus Jones, see how that works out. But, I mean, yeah, again, he can really play wherever he feels like.
Exactly. He's good enough to do both. And, he's an A-plus corner, but he's probably like an A-minus wide receiver. So I think it just comes for the Patriots, like that positional value. And, they have Christian Gonzalez. The wide receiver room does not have a Christian Gonzalez as a wide receiver, so I think that's where you're looking at. That's probably where Travis Hunter would make the most sense for them, at the top of the draft.
Also, love the scrambling ability that you mentioned. He was one of the best receivers production-wise in college football on those scramble drills. And that, when you look at the tape, there's plenty of other times where he got open and Shedeur just didn't get him the ball. So I think that's a big part of this, because with a guy like Drake May, we saw Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, they got it done when they needed to get open. The younger guys had some more trouble, so a guy like coming into the league being able to produce in that way would be really exciting. What's going on, everyone? Taylor Kyles here for CLNS Media with a very exciting announcement. Here at Patriots Press Pass, we will be introducing bonus tiers. Now, this will not affect any of the content that hopefully you've grown to know and love over here at Patriots Press Pass. It's all going to be some brand new stuff and extras so we can connect with you more and also provide you some more in-depth and high-quality content. Hopefully, you guys are going to like it. Here are the tiers and what you should be expecting from all these new bonuses. At Tier 1, we've got Rookie Starter. That'll come with ad-free content, early access to videos, 5% off of all merchandise, and even custom emojis. At Tier 2, we've got All Pro. Once again, ad-free content, early access, 10% off merchandise, custom emojis, but that'll also come with player profile film reviews and draft profiles. At Tier 3, we've got GOAT status. Same as all the other tiers, but it's going to be 20% off of all merchandise, and we're also going to have custom segments, Discord chat rooms with myself and other show hosts, as well as live film reviews with myself and whomever we've got on the podcast for that day. Hoping to have some pretty fun guests.
Anything else stand out to you guys from the podiums? I got to talk to Bryson Nesbit. Said he has met with Patriots informally. He believes if he comes back to New England, him and Drake May would get right back to it. So that was
how many Drake May questions were there? What was our line? 8.5 yesterday?
I don't know. So because I was waiting for Tyler Warren, who also had a big crowd. So I went over to Nesbit a little later. I was the only Patriots person there, but maybe there were people there before. I don't think he'd been asked about Drake, because I started with the sorry if I missed it, but he didn't, mention he had. So we might have been wrong. That might have been less.
Well, for me, it was Mykel Williams. I thought he was very charismatic, a guy that obviously physically and on the tape, I'm a big fan of him, but actually seeing the character side of it, just from what we were able to see in the media availabilities, I thought he blew it away. Had some comments about Vrabel. They seem to get along really well. A Georgia guy, Richard Seymour, I know he's pretty active in that community, so maybe, he gets in Vrabel's ear, like, hey, if you get the trade down and Mykel's there, you'd be pretty crazy to pass on him. Obviously, there was the injury last season that may affect his stock somewhat, but I thought he really stood out.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Going back to Nesbit,
yeah.
It's still kind of crazy that it feels like he's late day 3 pick right now.
That's going up. That's got to be going up at some point.
It should, because I think he'd be a great fit. If you don't want to go one of the tight ends earlier, you hammer some of those other needs, and say you bring back an Austin Hooper, right, in free agency. I think he would just be a great fit. The familiarity with Drake May, and then, he's got some juice at that position, and that's what they need. We've talked about that, with Henry and Hooper being, 30 and kind of those veterans. So I really like Bryson Nesbit, and I would be a fan of that.
All right, finally, before we wrap it up here from Radio Row for the week, although we will have more coverage when it comes to drills and all of that on the Patriots Press Pass YouTube page. The report this morning from Chad Graff of The Athletic, Patriots, T. Higgins maybe not in their plans. I wonder how much of that is we don't want him versus, well, we know we're not going to get him, so we're not going to expend that energy, and it's been pretty effusive all week that's the case. You talked to Mike Petraglia yesterday. That's on Patriots Press Pass. I talked to him this morning. That's on the 98.5 The Sports Hub YouTube channel, and he is speaking with conviction. Trag's the guy that would know. He is speaking with conviction that Higgins will go back. So just your reaction to that report and the general sense that it really is going to be trenches in New England this spring.
I like that they're not desperate to get that T. Higgins type. Yes, you want the number one receiver, but I also like that last year, if there was anything that L.A. Wolf did that was pretty good, it was that he did show restraint and not just throwing contracts just because they had positions of need. Did he reach in the draft? Yeah, maybe. But at least with the money in the free agency, we saw that they did show a little bit of that restraint because, like Graff mentioned, there are questions. He missed 5 games last season, and if this is a guy who's going to be one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid players on your team, is that a precedent that you want to set? Because availability is the most important thing. Belichick preached it all the time. Vrabel, we know with the soft tissue injuries that he's not a fan of. A lot of that is because he wants his guys on the field as leaders. So not only just that, but also Trey Smith. Like right before we did the show, it was reported that the Chiefs are going to franchise tag him. So these are two guys where you're thinking, yeah, if the Patriots are going to really throw a bag, it's going to be at those guys. But as it always happens, a lot of the best players that are supposed to hit for agency don't end up hitting the market because it's not advantageous to their teams.
Brian.
Get ready to learn Milton Williams, buddy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Get those defensive linemen in here.
I'm still holding out hope. Can we get, how about Nick Bolton?
I'm down
Right,
with
get
Nick
some
Bolton.
Super
If they
Bowl.
want to reset the linebacker spot, I'm absolutely down with that.
I don't know what the Chiefs' kind of cap space is looking like now that they just put 20+ million on Trey Smith. Yeah. So, like, they're going to have some decisions to make.
Nick Bolton was one. It was either first or second year, whatever year he came out during the draft, and me and Evan were both all in on Nick Bolton. And we were crushed when he didn't come here. So he's always and he goes to the Chiefs. He's making plays in the Super Bowl every year. And every time I see Nick Bolton, I'm like, that was like one of the first ones where I was like, I had this was the guy. So I'd love to see him here eventually. That'll do it for us here on this quick check-in from Radio Row. For more, subscribe to CLNS YouTube, Patriots Press Pass channel. Brian has more coverage on patspulpit.com, Taylor on clnsmedia.com. You can check my stuff out on 98.5 thesportshub.com and the 98.5 The Sports Hub YouTube channel. Until the next one, from Radio Row, for Brian Hines and Taylor Kyles, I'm Alex Barth. Thanks for tuning in.